In our local neighbourhood, someone has posted free to collect. Now we are looking for timber to make our planters. Now you never know what some people discard. Let's have a look what we find today and if we can make our planters from it.
Thank you.
I can't believe they discarded them.
That was great.
Ours now. All right, L-shapes, Mitre. Let's go. We immediately started cleaning them from all sorts of nails and screws. We had to be quite careful as any sort of metal left in there and our saw's blade would be in for a very bad day. We have finished cleaning our discarded timber. Look how beautiful they look. Which means we can start building our planter. Now most planters are built with overlapping joints and corners. Now our planter is actually going to be part of the facade of a corner of the house in the central part of our decking. So we really wanted our planter to come to a clean mitre and go all the way down without seeing all those joints on either side. Shall we go and build it? Let's go and build it. Let's go and build it. Yeah. And this is the result we want to achieve. A 90cm front, 60cm back and 30cm sides, which means we have 6 mitre joints with cuts that need to be at 45 degrees each. There are several ways to create the mitre corners. Option 1 is the inexpensive mitre box with a tenon saw. Option 2 is the handheld mitre saw. Option number 3 is the circular saw at 45 degrees angle and a speed square. However, we recently bought a bandsaw. All options would give the same results. The bandsaw is just easier for repeated cuts. He starts by tilting the table to 45 degrees. Then by using the mitre gauge, he scores the first piece to the exact length. This one is 90 centimetres. Then he clamps it to place and drives 2 screws through the fence. He then places plywood on the bottom side where the next pieces can rest for each cut. This way you get repeated cuts of the exact same length without needing to measure and mark each piece. Turn it around and the piece is perfectly cut to the right size. He does this for all the lengths. However, he made a mistake. When cutting the 2 pieces that will form the inside 60 centimetres corner, well, the total length is not 60 as you need to account for the wood thickness. So actually 64.5 centimetres. How many did he cut wrong before he noticed? All of them. Thankfully, we had a lot of excess material. Lesson learned the hard way.
All the wood is cut and this is the setup we want to have. Basically, these are sitting flat to the ground and then on top of them we will be building. This will be sitting here, the smaller ones will be sitting here, and then we will start putting more on top of them. The reason we put the bottom one flat to the ground is because we need some supports for the soil.
Before moving any further, it is time for some more cleaning because wood glue does not stick to dust and soil. Also, why not apply a couple of coats of wood preserver? These pieces have been sitting outside for a few years and we plan to keep them outdoors for as long as possible.
Now that the timber is cut to size, cleaned and treated, it's time for the assembly. And the assembly should look like this. Because we're not using overlapping joints, the assembly is a little bit more difficult, let's say. And for this we will need some screws, some wood glue, an impact driver and clamps. Like so. I give them a wiggle. Because this is very long, I'm going to use 3 screws on each piece, but for the smaller one, I'm going to use just 2. I take it in, I do a wiggle, 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 wiggle. Here I'm going to clamp the connection to keep them together. Now I'm going to use the sash clamps. This planter is particularly tall, so we do have sash clamps and we're using them. Squeezing and screws. Can someone explain to me why people, especially on YouTube, do this? Why do they do that? I mean, it has a variable speed. If you want to go slower, you go slower. If you want to go fast, you go fast. Let's go for it. Let's keep going. It's gonna be a long day. And this is the last one, which is going to be at the bottom. It's a little bit different than the others. I started from the top, and this is the bottom.
Making the planter, we didn't work to fine accuracies that we will work to when making furniture, so we did expect some of our joints not to align quite right. What are we going to do? Well, we could plane it. We're not going to. We're going to do some expanding glue. So we're going to let it cure, cut it off, paint over it. But what we're also going to do inside is pop some support beams into the joints as well to hold them. So we're going to start with our inner panels for a couple of reasons. One, to give us a practice. Two, because they're internal, covered by soil. You ain't going to see them, so we don't need to worry too much. So we can give all the materials and the alignment and the clamps a practice, and also the screws so they can go through. That's okay. So this gives us about, was it 15 minutes working time? 10 minutes working time, dampening one side and applying the glue to the other.
Ooh, it's runny.
Runny honey.
Now these corner clamps are going to help us align everything together.
We have also changed into renovation clothes because both the glue and the paint we're going to be using don't get it on your clothes that you care about.
Before I apply all the pressure, I'm going to put one screw here. Perfect now. I think we have success.
That was the easy bit, but it's always nice when you can practice on a bit that you don't need to worry about too much.
All right, one. Big success.
Big success on a back corner against the wall.
And now, to narrow this gap, I'm going to use these, like so. And now, with the help of screws, long screws on this side, small screws on this side, to bring them together.
And bit by bit, we put everything together in a few minutes. However, drying glue can be quite stressful. In the end, some minor planing to smooth the edges. And this is the stage where your average garden centre planter stops. They're okay, but not great. The good bit starts now, first with some wood filler for all the screw and nail holes, as well as perfecting the mitre joints. And then
I'm posing in my Crocs. The holes are filled. The filler is sanded. Let's get painting! We're starting with it upside down. No, we're not crazy. And we are painting some parts that we don't need to, because it is all about protection and painting, painting and protection. Lovely, 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 lovely. I'm having so much fun because I'm not allowed to paint inside the house. But I'm allowed to paint the bottom of a planter. She's living her paint dream.
You missed the spot.
ouch. And that's how I had a bit of sunny painting fun.
Now that the paint has dried, it's time to put some feet. Now you can buy feet or you can make your own. We're making our own because I'm cheap. And to do that, we're going to use a chopping board, a plastic chopping board.
Basically, anything plastic will do for the base. You don't want standing water. Wood and water are not friends long term. They're fine for a bit, like most relationships.
The reason we placed the bottom pieces flat to the ground was, of course, to give us a footing to place some bottom down there. Now I pre-cut these and I'm placing them inside like so. And I cut these half laps here, which will be sitting like this in the corner.
Of course, lining the inside helps keeping the timber a little less soaked, a little less wet. It is quite important for the longevity of the planter. You place it all around the inside with some overlapping. Once done, you need to open some holes as an escape route for the excess water. And to keep them from clogging, the bottom needs a layer of solid material. We had some leftover rubble from last year's retention wall demolition, so why not use them? And one layer of potting pebbles for belts and braces. It is a deep planter, and after all, the frost will not be forgiving. And what truly inspired this vision? Not just my love of flowers and the beauty of colour, but the dream of bringing a little bit of Greece to our sun-soaked corner. A bougainvillea fantasy. So it's going to be structured here. Go there. It's already got legs for its trellis, so Daddy needs to build its trellis.
Yeah.
And that is our beautiful planter, made of scrap wood. Our only cost was the screws, as we had all the other tools and materials. If we missed any information, please leave a comment and we will get back to you. We hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and remember that if we can do it, you can do it. See you on the next one.